matters.
That's right. Okay, so anyway, tonight I'm Dan Leonard in the West.
And I'm George Whittam, actually more in the East.
More in the East, and together we are East-West Audio Body Shop. Well, this is more than interesting.
If first you don't succeed, fail again.
That's right. But at least we got it on. Where were the show notes here? I had them here somewhere.
Well, tonight is episode 146, and we're bringing on Kristen Thorne.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Our studio production manager, who's waiting very patiently for us to get our acts together tonight.
All right.
And coming in here shortly once I tell her, I give her the thumbs up.
Yes.
The glass.
And since we can't run their spots, we'd like to thank our sponsors, of course, Harlan Hogan. And
that's right.
The guys at VoiceOver Extra, and where you're hanging out tonight at Edge Studios.
That's right. We've got this great facility, and all the problems we're having tonight really is just lack of overall preparation on my part. I kind of thought, well, I'm going to be just using my laptop tonight to do the show, but then I realized, there's a little bit more to it, and I take full blame, everybody. 146 episodes in. Once in a while, we're allowed a train wreck, right, guys? Please? Anyway,
that's right.
We'll edit out the bad stuff at the beginning for the recording. But anyway, it's fun to be here with you guys.
Your audio cut out.
Fun to be here in a different place, and I'm having fun improvising. It's kind of like, it's kind of like what we like to do. It brings back the thrill of the live broadcast of a field remote and all that bundled into one.
Right. And the stories I could tell you about doing radio remotes, like the time that I was doing a radio remote and we were next to the transmitter of another station and there was a bad connection in the XLR cable and all you heard was the other station over my remote.
Oh no.
Yeah, that one didn't go well. But anyway. Well, why don't we just stick with format here for the time being?
You understand, Dan, you're going to do a rant on the epidemic of bad audio?
Yes.
Tonight notwithstanding.
Tonight notwithstanding. Yeah, well, the audio now sounds perfect. And from what I can see, I look really good. So
we're just doing just raw audio, no processing, nothing fancy. This is just mics into the computer.
That's right. So anyway, if you're let's see, how many of you raise your hand if you can actually see this show. At least 31 of you are watching the show. We got 22 viewers on YouTube. So awesome. Again, if you want to see the show, I'm putting go into our chat room and just follow that link to the show because that's where we are right now. Anyway, bad audio.
If you can't hear that announcement, then you aren't watching the show.
That's right. This is true. Anyway, so I've been getting a lot of audio from folks, and we have our specimen cup, and George has his audio Dropbox. We like to listen to people's audio so we can help them out, and hopefully attract them to come and work with us and learn the proper way to do audio in their personal studio. And the stuff that we have been hearing lately has just been garbage. I guess the best way to put it. I mean, we're 146 episodes in on this show, and we've been trying to teach people this stuff for a long time. And some of you now, most of the people there in the chat room, who are watching the show regularly, I know your audio is pretty good, but I want to go over a couple of things here just to make sure that if you're new and you're following this show somehow, if you're able to follow all the links here, you can understand what's most important in your audio. And most important, of course, to me, is your acoustics. Because if your acoustics aren't right, you're in big trouble. Because you can have the most expensive microphone. You could have the greatest audio chain. You could have this fabulous audio chain that George has over at Edge Studios tonight, and you can have all of this great stuff, but if you're doing it in your bathroom, it's not going to help you. If you're doing it in the hallway with no audio, with the audio bouncing off the walls, what good audio is, and you've got to understand what that means, is that there has to be minimal observable room reaction. That means that you don't sound like you're in an empty room. And believe it or not, people are doing that all the time. 95% of the quality of your audio comes from the acoustical signature of your room. And it's very, very important that you learn what room reflection sounds like. Apparently, some of you don't get it. Or that you're listening to it in a place where that's different from where you're recording it, and there's a lot of room reflection where you're listening it back, especially if you're listening on computer speakers, which you shouldn't be doing, and it's not sounding right. So it's important to get your acoustics right. Also, something like bass reflex. Now, bass reflex, if I could demonstrate bass reflex here just a little bit for you. This is why it's good to have the movable microphone tonight. This is bass reflex. Believe it or not, I hear people with audio like that. Can you hear that, George? I can't hear anything. Okay, good. All right. That's bass reflex. And that's also the top of my head. But bass reflex is really bad. What that comes from a small room, or from being under a shelf, or being on, if having your microphone on a desktop stand. Do not do that. You need one of these guys. You need a boom microphone with the mic hanging like that, the way you see it. Of course, I'm probably uncentering my shot a whole lot. But it's... Hold on one second. Is that better?
It doesn't matter now that I don't have to frame up the shot because we're on Hangouts.
That's true.
Do your thing.
Okay.
Let your freak flag fly.
Okay. Unfortunately, I can't do it with my hair because just my mustache can be my freak flag. Right. Anyway, that's really important to understand the acoustics. We talk about it all the time here, and it's important to have the proper damping in your room. Getting soundproofness, forget about the soundproofing. Go in your closet, it'll do fine. But once you're in your closet or once you're in a booth, it's got to be acoustically neutral, and it's got to be properly damped. Mic technique. Are we hearing a lot of bad mic technique, George?
You know what? I think it's getting better out there a little bit. I haven't heard as much massive plosives and people eating the mic, and I get the occasional person has the mic facing the wrong way or something like that, or they think it's an end address radio mic and they talk into the wrong side. But I don't know. I think it's getting better out there. What do you think?
Well, I hear a lot of Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Right.
If you use a mic properly, if you're not talking directly into the diaphragm, and we've talked about this a million times, you don't get Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers because you're not talking into the diaphragm. Your copy's going to be down here in front of you. You're looking underneath the microphone, and that's going to do everything for you. And then there's proximity. Some people talk too close to the microphone because they want to sound like they're nice and deep and are amazing with their voice. The fact of the matter is you want to be as far from everybody as you would normally be in conversation, like 7 to 12 inches, and that will pick you up just fine, as you're hearing me now, over the VO1A Harlan Hogan Signature Series microphone. That's how we get his commercial in tonight. Well, it's sort of like there the whole time, isn't it? So that's also important. Also, another one we get is headphone leakage, ground loops. A lot of people get buzzing and hissing and stuff like that. We have all the cures for these sorts of things. Also, your noise floor. How loud is the exterior noise? Is it coming from your computer fan? All these different things that we've talked about over and over and over again. Some people apparently aren't listening, which may mean that they can't hear in the first place, which is why their audio is so bad. Does that make any sense? Anyway, if by chance you have questions about your audio, I promise not to insult you, but we will help you out. We want to make sure that your audio is nice and clean and professional sounding and properly modulated. I have a Dropbox over at my website, homevoiceoverstudio.com. That's homevoiceoverstudio.com. Go about 2/3 down the front page. There is a specimen collection cup. Click on that, go into the Dropbox, drop me off some audio, and let's give it a listen, and I'll be able to very quickly analyze what's going on. And George, you have a Dropbox too. Not that you're a little busy these days with some of your other clients, but you do have a Dropbox as well, do you not?
I apologize. I do. I have the sound check link on my website, and I am a couple of weeks behind on those, so I apologize, everybody. I've just been this is crazy time of the year for me, so I don't have any good excuses. But if you're tired of waiting for me, drop one into Dan's. If you've got one in mind and I haven't answered, give Dan a try. He'll give you really good notes too.
Right, and I get right back to you most of the time, depending on what's going on here. So, because I like getting email and I like people dropping stuff off in my Dropbox and finding out what's going on. Anyway, that's my minor sort of rant. Send us your audio. Let's see what's going on in there. Our job, George and I, are committed to getting everybody's audio nice and clean. And by the way, those of you who are members of World Voices Organization, and if you haven't joined yet, why not? You should at least apply over at worldvo.org. Starting July 1st, our amazing committee of technicians, including George, myself, Uncle Roy, who I don't know if he's in there tonight, and Joe Van Riper, and Cliff Zellman, we're going to be certifying people's personal studio audio as a member of WOVO, and we'll be getting those details up very, very quickly. And those are the things we're going to be looking at, so pay attention to that. And that's the name of that tune.
Very good.
Yes.
Well, why don't you do a live... Well, you've already done a commercial for Home Studio Master.
That's
basically.
True, I have. I have.
But what's new with Studio Suite?
What's new with Studio Suite? I still a bunch went out today. Some went off to Kalamazoo Zoo, and some went off to some other place last week, and people are buying it up. And it works, and it does a great job of damping, especially great in closets. Or everybody's been watching the video we did last summer at Ann Ganguz's, and our condolences to Ann. I believe the passing of her mother, which is kind of a sad.
Yeah.
But when we were there, everybody's been watching that video of me assembling the booth, and they all want the plans and the dimensions. And gee, how did we measure that in my mom's backyard last year? It's like, yeah, this will be long enough. It all.
I think I laid down next to the pipe and said,
yeah, that's like, all right, 1 cubit by 50 cubits by. Anyway, so that's a fun thing to do, is to build a booth, and you can use Studio Suite with that, and it works just amazing. Is it elegant? No. But the best thing about it is
fully functional.
It works.
Absolutely.
You know, nobody needs to see where you're recording it. The fact is you'll sound like you're in $1 million studio. So go on over to vostudiosuite.com. And we're supposed to show this thing for for our friends at Voice 2014. I'm betting you. Well, of course, I'd have to send the audio too, and that's not going to work. So that's not going to happen.
Not happening tonight.
If we were on Zoom, I could share the audio on that, and we could do that. Anyway,
if in Hangouts, if it's on YouTube, you can share the YouTube video over Hangouts.
Well, that's true. That's true. Well, then I can show that. Of course, now I have to find it.
In fact, if you, I was going to say, if you want to go into the YouTube thing in Google Plus,
yeah,
or I mean in the Google Hangout, do you know where the YouTube button is?
Where's the YouTube button?
And do a search for Whittam's World Ep 27.
Whittam's World episode 27.
Because that's the next segment we're going to show.
Oh, okay. Let me see here. Links. There's the YouTube page. How do you go to YouTube on here? It's over on the side here. Share screen, Q&A.
Pops out of the side. I can do it.
Yeah, you say that. All right, why don't you do it?
I'll see if I can do it.
All right.
That's the cool thing about Google Hangouts. Anybody in the Hangout can share content. Like anybody that says, "Oh, I want you to see this or that," anybody can see it. So let's go to add videos to playlist. It's funny, there's like a playlist. I don't want all that junk in the playlist. I only want one video. Can you still hear me? Yeah. Okay.
I can hear you. We're all hearing you.
Add videos to playlist. Widdom's World 27. There it is.
All right. And then get Kristen in the studio, and then we can carry on.
You got it.
Okay.
All right, so everybody, here's the Widdom's World I promised to share tonight. If you haven't seen this already, this is about using. I was answering a question about getting your equipment to work with the iPad and how best to work with the iPad. And while this is playing, I'll go get Kristen and get her in the chair so we can not waste any more time and get her in the interview. So here we go. Let me know if you don't see or hear this. This is the Widdom's World episode 27 on iPad. To share tonight, if you haven't seen this already.
I'm about to put up the girl from Ipanema, so. Not yet.
You guys are saying that there's no video. They're not seeing the video?
No, they're just seeing me here. Not that I'm bad to look at, but...
What's the whole point of this? If you guys don't see it too, what's the point?
Really? That's true. Well, it might be because I initiated the Google Hangout. Let's see here.
My understanding is that anybody in the Hangout can initiate a video and everybody should see it in the Hangout. But it looks like that is not the case.
Oh, well.
So let's try one last thing, and if this doesn't work, I'll do a live thing about iPads.
All right, go for it.
Because I know what I'm talking about. We've done this. How many times have we talked about iPads? Many times.
Well, you take it.
A bunch of times. With it. Okay. Well, I was going to try one last little trick. I was going to try doing a. Let's see. Close that. Let me go back to the regular video feed of me. Okay, there we go. I was going to do a screen share and show the video from a window, because I can do that as well. There's the video window. Start screen share. And let's just see if this works. Okay.
Okay.
You guys are incredibly patient. All right, so that may... I don't know if the audio is going to make it.
We're about to get started. Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm hearing it.
Is the audio making it?
Just over your mic.
Oh, just over the mic. All right, guys, this is a turning into a fruitless exercise. I'm turning off the screen share. They should make it easy where the audio just gets fed right into the show automatically.
But
not happening tonight. Not happening tonight. So basically the gist of the Widdom's World, and of course you guys can go at any time, head over to the Edge Studio YouTube channel and check out the my Widdom's World videos over there. There's a whole bunch of them. So I imagine a lot of you may have seen them, but if you haven't, please do check them out. But the video I was going to show was about answering questions on how to interface audio with the iPad. And there's a lot of devices out there. Well, not a lot. There's a handful of devices out there that do it out of the box without any kludging, I like to say, one of my favorite words, where you don't need to hook up a battery pack and a USB power supply and all that. There are nowhere near as many as you would think. And I think it's because Apple has really tried hard to keep the iPad the realm of, the consumer device, the consumption device, and they never really intended it to be a device for professional audio production. But the fact of the matter is, the iPad is a really powerful little computer. It's got a lot of capability, and so the thing is, if you have the right interface to get the audio in, you can get pro audio quality, no problem. And recently, we've tried a few different things over the last couple of months. But the thing I think I've been the most impressed with in recent times is the Apogee 1 for iPad. They make one called the Apogee iOS for iPad. And what makes it different from a lot of the other devices that will work with an iPad is it truly is completely portable. It has two AA batteries internally that will run the device when the iPad can't power it. The iPads no longer have the power to drive a mic preamp and phantom power on these interfaces, so they have to be self-powered or powered by USB. So the fact that this thing has internal batteries, two AA's, and will run at least for a day or two on batteries is pretty sweet. You're getting really good mic preamps. I think they give you up to about 65 or 70 dB of gain. You have the ability to get zero latency monitoring in case you just really want to hear yourself in your headphones while you record. It can do all that stuff, and then you can take it home and plug it into your Mac. So it's a pretty slick device for recording with the iPad, and of course it works with any mic, but it also has an internal microphone. There's one built into the Apogee 1 itself. So if you really want to travel light on a trip, you can just throw that in your bag, not bring your studio microphone with you, and you get this kind of a 2-for-1 deal with that. And yeah, anybody in the chat room, since we're doing this live, if you've got input questions or whatever, I'm going to keep one eye on the chat room as I talk here and answer.
I can because I'm not talking.
Well, yeah, but I'm watching the chat room, so if I see anything that people want to input. Somebody asked about what about tablets. I'm guessing, Amy, you're saying what about non-iOS devices. The problem with the non-iOS devices, so all the other tablets, let's talk about Android specifically, is they don't have a standardized equipment they don't have it's not standard equipment. Like with iOS, when you get an iPhone or an iPad, every iPhone, every iPad has exactly the same hardware. So you can guarantee that the device is going to interact with the iPad correctly. Whereas on Android, different Android equipment have different capabilities. And the most important thing for an Android device to be able to record external audio is it has to have this thing called USB on the go. And if it can't power a USB device, it can't work with a USB mic. I have tried it with one little device called the USB. It's made by Art. It's called the USB Dual Pre. It's a cute little box that happens to run on a 9-volt battery, but I found that it plugs and plays with an Android phone. I mean, I've been using it with occasionally experimenting with my Samsung Galaxy S3, and it will work. So if you're looking at Android tablets, make sure that the tablet has the USB on-the-go functionality, and then you just need a USB on-the-go cable. It's just a little tail that sticks out and gives you a USB port. So it is possible on a tablet. It's just the software on the Android system is just not as simple and easy to use as Twisted Wave on iOS. So if you really want to be working in a tablet environment, you'll probably want to stick with, at least for now, you'll probably want to stick with an iOS device. The touchscreen editing on Twisted Wave, once you get the hang of it, it's not bad. Dan, you've played with it. Have you done any recording on the road using your iPad?
Oh, I absolutely have. It's actually very easy when you use an iPad. Of course, my iPad's downstairs now, but if you've got an iPad, you can use finger gestures with it, and that helps a whole lot. because you get to use things like this and go like that and go like
Pinch
this
zoom
and pull things apart and it records in really, I mean, if you're using a good interface with it, like like the Apogee mic or the iTrack Solo, the mixer face now that's coming out. And there's a couple of other ones that interface with the iPad. With Twisted Wave, you just can't beat it. It just works really, really well, along with some of the other programs that are on there, like Voice Memo, and there's a couple of other programs that you can use with it. The GarageBand is on there if you want to, multi-track yourself. So it's all there, and the capability's been there for a while. But using Twisted Wave on an iPad, we keep saying it's just a matter of time before everybody's doing it that way.
Yeah, and Sam Fleming in the chat room just private messaged me about can you run Source Connect now on the iPad? It's going to be an app on the iPad. It's just not available yet. I don't know when it's going to be available, but we're all kind of waiting with bated breath to see. But Source Connect now on an iPad is definitely something that's in the works, and you'll eventually be able to do that. If you want to go less expensive than the Apogee one, then check out the iTrack Solo. It's about $120. It will work with an iPad. It just needs to be plugged into USB bus power. So if you want to be totally portable, you can bring along a little USB battery pack. I actually have one in my bag over here. I'll show you what one looks like.
Here we are ad-libbing again.
Here's a USB battery. So if you want to be portable, you can bring this along with an iTrack Solo, or the Avid Fast Track Solo and Duo, I think now also are iPad compatible, but they need power. So you could bring a battery pack like this. This would run it for days and days. Or you just plug it into your iPad charger. So there's a lot of cool options there. And the next version of iOS, a little prediction, this is going to be the first version of iOS 8, that is going to make me really think hard about getting an iPhone. It's got a lot of cool features, including the ability to share files very, very fluidly between the Mac, the phone, the tablet, and outside of the Apple garden walls. They're going to be giving Dropbox a run for the money now with iCloud. If they can pull it off, they haven't done so well in the past. If they do it, if they come through what they say, it's going to be really cool. So let me go get Kristen.
Yeah, go get Kristen, and I'll just look in the camera and talk to people here. Again, we're doing this as a Google Hangout on air tonight because Ustream was not cooperating with us. The one time George goes all the way across the country, it goes out on us. But we do our best to try and bring the show to you, and this night is no exception. 146 episodes in a row, as opposed to some of the remotes I was talking about. Like the one time that I was at a convention, a boat show, and had to drag this huge transformer unit around with me, and then it wouldn't work, and we kept plugging it in different places, and then I said, oh, screw this. We went back to the station, which is fortunately around the corner, and the engineer's like, flip. Oh, that switch. Never mind. Anyway, we have a guest with us now. Joining us from Edge Studios in New York is Kristen Thorne.
Hi.
Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Are we getting decent audio off the mic?
Not yet.
No? You don't hear Kristen?
Go like this.
Oh, now she's there. Now wait. That's better. Yes.
Yeah, you're taller than I expected. Must be that tall chair. Let's try that.
Oh, terrific.
All right.
Okay.
Well, fancy. We like things fancy around here at
Yes. Anyway.
There's Dana over there.
Well, welcome to the show, and you can hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Oh,
Thank
excellent.
you.
Okay, good. Kristen, welcome to the show. Now, you're the production manager at Edge. Now, George is, he's all the way there in New York from the West Coast and hanging out in your studio there. First, talk a little bit about how you became the production manager there. What's your background in voiceover and with audio engineering?
Oh, sure. Well, I've been with Edge now 4 years, and I started in audio in college. I actually studied sound design
Hmm.
very briefly at NYU, and the truth is, I kept falling asleep in the studio. It was so quiet and small, and I was so tired, overworked. So it wasn't for me, and I sort of found out through that experience that I'm more of a producer than
More
than
of a
an
people
engineer.
person,
Yeah.
not hauled away in the studio in the dark by yourself person.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I need more rad.
Right.
Yeah, so I worked on a lot of live theater. That's how I got my start in audio, I suppose. And then little by little found my way into animation. And so then I started working for a company called 4Kids Productions. And we did a lot of localization of a lot of Japanese anime. And then just grew there. Started with doing some casting. First with scheduling, then casting, and then eventually directing. And it just grew and grew and grew. And now I'm here at Edge.
What year did you start with Edge?
2010.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you've been here a while.
Yeah.
Been here a while.
A while. When we were one studio, and then another studio, and then a third studio that was really a closet, so we stopped calling it a studio. And now here in our New York flagship, which is great. We have 5 studios, quite robust voiceover operation.
Yeah, the day I walked in here the first time, I was pretty surprised what David accomplished with this place.
Oh yeah, put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
I cried a lot.
I kind of wished I was involved from earlier on during the whole process of this coming together.
A completely different experience.
Well, I don't know, maybe I don't know, but it would have been neat to see it all come together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about what goes on over at Edge. I mean, we know George is over on the West Coast and handling people's home studios and questions, stuff like that. But there's a whole studio there. What goes on over there?
We are a full-service audio production facility. So we specialize in voiceover and vocals, mostly spoken. Occasionally we have some sung, singing vocalists come in, so some sung tracks as well. And we don't really focus in any specific genre of voiceover. We really reach out to all opportunities to produce audio. So everything from audiobooks to animations, a lot of corporate and industrial work, commercial work, documentaries, like you name it, we pretty much have it handled here at Edge.
And your job is to coordinate all that and to help the engineering, or what?
Yeah. Well, my role is continually developing here, which is a perk of being employed by a small yet large business at the same time. Small but big. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So I have a lot of diverse tasks and opportunities to work with audio here at Edge. Generally, my main focus is bringing in new clients and identifying projects that would be a good fit for the studio and for our resources. So everything, it's from inception to completion, really. So identifying the lead, submitting casting and numbers, costs that go along with that. So here's the casting, here's what this is going to cost you, here's your turnaround time, and then just making sure that everything falls into place. So coordinating all the studios. We have 2 production coordinators as well, Anna and Jeffrey, who are a terrific part of my team. 2 full-time engineers, a slew of freelancers, and a lot of talent. So sort of putting the puzzle together, producing impeccable audio and bringing revenue.
And keeping all these rooms
busy. And most days they are, and I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah. How many rooms are actually in there? We were planning on doing a tour of the studio. That's not going to be as easy as I thought now, is it?
Well, actually, now that I'm just using the MacBook Air and I'm on Wi-Fi,
you could walk around.
I could actually walk around on Google Hangouts. We could actually do that.
Well, why don't we give that a shot then? Let's see what goes on over at Edge. Everybody hears about this place, but nobody ever gets to go in there.
Yeah, the audio is going to switch over to the built-in sound if I unplug it all, but we'll do that towards the end. Maybe we'll wait for the end, and then if there's a train wreck, it'll be at the end of the show.
And I can turn on all the lights.
Yeah, we could do that later. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I walk in here thinking, oh, I'm just going to bop into a booth and do work, and there's almost something going on.
Yeah, space is a premium.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Let's see here. Steve Gonzalez asks, What were some of your favorite projects, and who are some of your favorite voiceover actors that you've worked with?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's
Didn't
why we
Stephen
asked
Fry
them.
come in here recently?
Yeah, that actually
That was
was one of
pretty
the
cool.
first ones that came to mind. Yeah, we've recorded with Stephen Fry for the BBC a number of times, and that's a really he's really gracious and very pleasant to work with, very charismatic, total professional.
That's nice.
Very nice. Yeah, so those are always great projects. I'm under an NDA, so I can't speak to what projects we worked
Yeah.
on, but it was a really great experience to have him in. We recently produced a few spots for Pepsi, and those were really fun. We did the voiceover, the full mix, and the sound design for a few of their campaigns, so that was great.
Oh, nice.
And then as far as talent, I mean, I have my favorites, like any casting director does. I don't want to call anybody out specifically, but as a casting director, we're always looking for talent who are incredibly reliable, professional, impeccable with the clients. So I definitely know what I'm looking for in talent that I work with, and talent that we cast. So we're always looking for new voices, but then at the same time, when talent are able to build their value through every interaction with the studio, that continues to set a nice baseline of professionalism, and we always enjoy bringing those folks back again and again because you feel confident as well. They're going to get in the booth, they're going to take direction well, deliver what we're expecting them to deliver, and it just makes everything better for everyone. The client's happy, we're happy, everyone continues to work.
I mean, I know one thing that Edge is, it's right on the website, is that we hire who we teach, right, or we hire who we train, right?
Yeah.
Can you even put a number on, like, how many people have made it through the program and have worked? I mean, is it even possible to quantify that, or can you think of a success story, where someone came through the program and then all of a sudden you realize, wow, this person could actually deliver the goods?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah?
Actually, there's a talent that trained through Edge. His name is George Orlando. He lives in New Jersey and works his great home studio, and also comes into the studio. And he was someone that came through the program, cut several demos with us, and works a lot. Works full time now in voiceover.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know New York is different than a lot of other markets where there is still a thriving studio scene here. Like, people do a lot of their work in studio.
Yeah, there really is. The majority of our work is in studio. The majority of our clients actually come in studio as well. So you can't see too much. You only see this blue wall behind us. But we're in our main tracking rooms. When you see the tour later, you'll see more of that. So this is our main client room, and the majority of our clients do enjoy coming in. And a lot of our corporate clients come in, and we're in Midtown, so we're centrally located. Convenient to them.
We're like a stone's throw from Times Square.
Yeah, I was just looking out the window and watching the tourists like come down the street, and they're all tired.
Yeah, when they walk this direction, they're like dragging. When they go this way, they're excited.
Times Square.
This way, slow.
Yeah, so we do a fair amount of remote recording as well. Some with home studio talent. I mean, we'll cast wherever the talent is. So. It's always great to have the talent in the studio if the client's going to be in the studio. But if the client's elsewhere, then we open up the production possibilities.
Yeah. Now, you also have classes and coaching going on at Edge too, right?
We sure do, yeah. We offer a number of classes. Our only in-studio class is a group class. It's called the Investigate Voiceover Workshop. And that class is geared towards talent who are very new, totally fresh to the voiceover industry. Could be anyone from someone who's always been told they had a good voice, who's always been curious about it, to stage and screen actors who are looking to transition their skills into the voiceover arena. And it is quite different. I mean, some of the approaches are very similar, but at the same time, the technique that's involved for producing a clean sound, an articulate sound, that requires some special attention. And some talent get there faster than others, are production ready, what I like to call production ready, more swiftly than others. So our approach is very flexible with the training here. And it's really geared towards everyone's individual needs. So let's say Georgia and I were both going to move forward in voiceover. Like, yeah, let's make a demo. We're so excited. George may need like 3 sessions with a coach before he's production ready. I may need like 7 or 17. You know, it all depends. There's a big spectrum there. And we also offer a really comprehensive curriculum of webinars, everything from business and money to home studio webinars to our technique spotlights and technique 101s. And each week it focuses on a different aspect of the business, how to market yourself, what goes into a website, what's a good rate, are you getting, you know, a fair rate for your time, how do you clean up your diction, what is sibilance, how do you jump into an archetype, how can a character help develop your read, even, you know, if you're not a character performer. So we really approach it from a very all-encompassing kind of place. We have a number of great coaches on board as well that specialize in different areas of voiceover.
Yeah, but who are some? You've got some real stars there too. Some people that are real. I know our good friend Randy Kay coaches over there, and Johnny Heller. Who else do you have on staff?
Johnny Heller. We have Carol Monda, who is an excellent audiobook narrator. It's what she's most widely known for. She's great commercial and narrative work as well outside of the audiobook industry. We also work with Jay Snyder, who is sort of like premier animation video game coach. He's also terrific with audiobooks and commercial work. He books out a lot. So he's very, very fortunate full-time voice talent as well.
Okay. Are you guys? Somebody asks. Are you starting to embrace some of the new technologies in the studio for remote recording, like IpDiddle or Source Connect now, or any of those things? Everybody wants to have the ability and the chance to work over at Edge Studios.
Ah, well, that's terrific.
So, are you guys starting to adapt to that stuff now?
We definitely do. Yeah, we are mostly on Source Connect. We find really nice stability with that connection. We have had some growing pains as we adapt to the new technology as well, and figuring out how to Source Connect connect with Skype, connect with our phone patch. Like, how can we bridge a Source Connect studio, you know, in
That's
Los
part of the
Angeles.
reason I'm here this week, to work out all the
I've got a
all
list
the
like
details.
this long.
Okay, we got a honey-do list.
Yeah, there's a honey-do list. Please fix this and
Yep.
this and this.
Yep.
So yeah, it is a real game changer with the new software that's developing, and as such, we've also been upgrading our physical equipment as well. So finding maybe what may have worked for us 2 years ago as far as processors and preamps, things in the new digital interface aren't really giving us the sound that we're looking for. So we're constantly growing and innovating and improving our workflows that way.
And as we get new engineers, the new engineers come and they're familiar with new tools. And
exactly.
So they recommend trying new things.
Yeah, it's great. It's been a tremendous period of growth for the studio.
Yeah. Let's see here. Here's a good question from Sam Fleming asks, what is the #1 thing that a talent must have to work with Edge as a new talent? Probably a phone.
Well, a great demo. I mean, that's the first step. You know, a great demo gets you in the door. And then location is second. So are you local to one of our studios, meaning we can bring you in to the studio to record? And then if you're not, what's your home studio like? How clean is it? Can I get a broadcast quality sound from your home setup?
Do tell her, George, we don't use broadcast quality anymore.
No.
We decided to change the terminology.
It's now professional quality audio, and we don't even call them home studios anymore. Now they're personal studios.
Okay. Personal studios. Yes. I played that game with the clients. I'm like, I said a remote studio. You're not in your basement. You're not in your pajamas. Just make sure everybody is clear on that.
We are, yes, but we're not telling you.
Yes, exactly. You can be naked. It's fine.
Yes.
Keep your Skype cam off and do your thing. As long as as long as it sounds and they're happy and it's an easy experience with them. There's no hiccups. It's a clean connection on the phone patch or the Skype patch or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as long as I receive audio from the remote studio, any remote studio, home studio, professional studio, otherwise, that I can integrate, into the audio that we're producing here. That we're producing here. That's all that matters.
Amy asks if you ever come out west to teach. Now I know you're wearing a lot of hats. Are you actually coaching as well on top of all that other stuff?
I am. I'm also coaching. I teach the Technique Spotlight and Audition Ringer webinars twice a month, and I'm also available for private coaching here in New York. We did come out to Los Angeles last fall.
Yeah, that's right.
And offered a series of workshops through a variety of venues. So there's always plans. David Goldberg, who is our chief edge officer, as he likes to call himself, is always, he's sort of touring the country and probably going to take over the globe with voiceover workshops. So there's often an edge event near you, and definitely expanding our presence on the West Coast for sure.
Okay. Amy Serenzi asks, I bet you I pronounced that right. Amy Serenzi asks, she's an Edge student. Can I record my demo at the Fairfield, Connecticut studio, or must it be done in New York City?
You can record your demo at the Fairfield, Connecticut studio. It's always better to come into the city, I think. But the studio is an option in Connecticut. We don't really do too much production work out there anymore. We were doing more, but we find that most of our client base is here in New York or remote, so they'll just patch in, and their talent, again, could be anywhere or be here. So yeah, Connecticut is an option.
I was going to say, do you allow a prospective, someone that wants to hire you for demo production, do you allow them to record remotely? Like Source Connect or anything like that? Would that be permissible, or does it really feel like you're not going to get the full service unless they're really here?
Well, being in studio can be very helpful for recording the demo. Having that face-to-face contact with your director and your engineer, there is an energy that's created, and that's very nice. But we do remote record demos often, and there's a whole sheet of protocol of audio specs and things that we listen for. We definitely want a sample of the remote studio or the home studio beforehand to make sure that the demo is going to sound as good as possible from a technical standpoint. So we screen it for noise floor, for any kind of distortion or artifacting, just the general, is this a good quality here? And also the connection, the phone patch connection. So for example, I did a remote demo with a woman who was in the South, and I didn't have a clear connection. I couldn't hear. I heard like the general, tone of her delivery, but the specifics, the dropping the T's, the hitting all of the vowels, the noises, that I couldn't hear because the connection was rather poor. So when I received the audio, it took me personally, it took me 3 hours. I sat with it and I cleaned it up and I did my selects just to get something together that was usable, And the difference there was the connection. I just couldn't hear. I couldn't hear the same thing.
Well, I'll tell you, once Source Connect, the thing that's amazing about Source Connect now, it's still so early days. People are trying to understand what to do with it.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is what we'll have eventually on our website is an embedded page where we can give any talent access to that connection. And so they can, even if they're going to record on their end and send us the files, even if either way, we can provide them a link to the studio, and you'll hear them at ISDN or better quality.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And they don't have to buy any software. They don't have to have ISDN. They don't have to have a Source Connect light. They just click a link, type in a passkey that we give them, and they're connected.
Yeah.
So that, when we have that dialed up, which I hope to have by the end of the week, that's going to be going to be something really awesome to offer.
Yeah.
That we can offer clients.
That's great.
Steve Tardio asks, can you record auditions at Edge Studios so we can possibly get some direction or feedback before sending them out?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a number of ways to record auditions. We offer a reduced rate for talent who are local to the studio to come in, and we build that in 15-minute increments for them to lay down their tracks. Those are self-guided sessions. We do offer a booth director as well, if you'd like. We also have something...
that really important audition. I don't want to blow this, I want to get direction.
Yeah, and we have a few talent that utilize that service regularly. They come in weekly through their agents to lay down these auditions. Another option is through a checkup session, and that's something that we offer on our website. I don't know the price point of that offhand, but it's under $30. And you can submit your audition for immediate feedback. It's usually from me or from one of our other booth directors.
$27, I believe.
$27, there you go. That's a good price. And I auditioned a British talent last week who had a really important opportunity for a long-term account with a travel agency. And so she had like 2 or 3 15-second spots that she had to bang out, and the copy was very, very verbose. It was the kind of copy that you think maybe nobody ever actually said this out loud until it was auditioning. So it was crunch time. You know, she had 3 15-second spots. Like, how can we make these 15 seconds the best, given the copy that she was working with? And we went back and forth and emailed a few times, and eventually I just called her and I was like, okay, this is what we're working with. And she sent it in and she felt good about it. So she said she would give me an update if she booked the gig or not.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's definitely an option.
Questions keep coming in. Dan, we got more questions?
We do. Mike Hales asks, Kristen, how often do you hire Edge students from the Fresh Voices demo library?
Oh, that is a good question. That really varies, and I don't have any kind of number for that. And this
we didn't prepare her on this. This is totally off the cuff.
But the truth is that we submit talent from the Fresh Voices library for just about every project. Our client ultimately is the one that makes the decision on the casting. So they don't know if they're receiving a fresh voice or they're receiving a demo from our production library.
Okay.
And some talent are even featured in both. So when we do our internal searches, let me back up. So casting happens 2 ways here at the studio. Either the client will have already gone through our library and identified talent they'd like to hear more from, and they'll move to a custom audition phase, or they'll give us their casting specs, which is generally, sometimes it's very robust information, and sometimes it's like, I need a male, 40, sounds nice. Okay, great. So then I take the script. Yeah.
Hey, that's me.
All right.
There we go.
Hi. So then we'll take the script and we'll break it down according to their copy. We'll take a look at the script and say, okay, this is this kind of company or this kind of brand. This is the tone of the piece, and then use our creative juices in that way to go through the library and identify talent that might be a good fit. From that point, we'll submit those demos to our client. From there, they'll either cast directly from the demo or they'll solicit a round of custom auditions. But ultimately, the client always makes the final decision on the talent.
Okay. Amy E. Fisher, the real Amy Fisher, by the way. Can you recommend someone great out in the L.A. area for demos? Or is it one team or a person in L.A.? Because you were saying we've got the studio out in L.A. We were talking with, who was it? They were Noel Romano a couple weeks ago. Oh, the brain works.
It's getting late, I know.
Yeah. It's getting late over here. Yeah. Well, yeah, Noelle is really our go-to coach in the LA market. She records with us and Andrew out of Voice Tracks West. So that's sort of our second home out there. And we're continually updating our roster of coaches, and we're expanding our offerings in the LA market. So we'll have some new coach announcements at some point in the near future, hopefully. But right now, Noelle is our go-to coach for in-studio LA recording. To that effect, I mean, any coach from the Edge roster can direct a talent anywhere. Yeah. So again, it depends on your preference and what you're comfortable with.
Yeah. I don't know how well you can answer this one. Tremaine Kendrick Mosley asks, you have an Edge up north. It's up north. It's in the Northeast, Tremaine. And you have one on the West Coast. How about an Edge in the South? Is something like that in the works, like in Miami or perhaps in Atlanta or something like that?
Yeah, it's so funny that you say Miami, because I personally, after coming out this last hellacious winter on the East Coast, all winter, I'm like, Edge Studio Miami, I'll move right now. I'll open it up. I'm very, I like to dance. I like the tropics, good for my hair. I'll go there for sure. So no plans for Miami. That was sort of vetoed. We have some studio relationships in Atlanta, but at this point, I'm not sure what, we're growing so fast and so rapidly, really trying to precisely navigate the voiceover terrain and where will be most effective.
And keep the quality up.
Keep the quality, yeah. That's something to consider for sure.
There's lots of studios out there, but I hear a lot of audio samples because David sends them to me sometimes.
Yeah.
Says, hey, take a listen to this. And I'll tell you, a lot of commercial studios that we get audio from don't hold a candle just to the quality of a lot of the personal studios that I've heard.
The people who watch
Yeah.
the
it's
show
easy
on
to
a
find.
regular basis.
Amazing. I mean, even I had my eyes open. I was recently recording some backing vocals. I'm also a singer from time to time in the studio, and I went into their booth, and there was like no talk back. The room was hardly treated. I was getting all this reflection, and I'm like, this is a studio? Okay.
Yeah, you can't take a room you can't take a strip mall and just put studio monitors and a mic and say it's a studio.
This is true. But there are some really great studios in Atlanta that we have a nice relationship
There's
with.
huge amount of
hangout
industry
flag.
down there.
Oh, for sure.
Film industry and
for sure.
Yeah.
Also in Mississippi, a lot of activity in Biloxi.
Mhm.
Memphis as well is coming up for production. So yeah, it's very
only a matter of time.
It's a matter of time. I like the warm weather. I'll go anywhere.
Anywhere south.
Yeah, anywhere south. Anywhere south, west, it's fine. I love New York.
All right, let's see if you can do a tour here at the studio a little bit. So
we'll give it a wing.
Try
We'll
it.
give it a wing. Right. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unplug everything from this laptop.
I'm gonna take a time
There's 4
out.
cables.
Right.
And hopefully it'll just gracefully default back over to the MacBook microphone. And we will see. We shall see what we shall see.
All right. So we're gonna take a tour here of Edge Studios. Now this is the main production studio you're in right now, or?
This is the main production studio. Let's see if I can get back my Hangouts. Did I lose you, Dan?
No, I'm here.
Okay, cool. I just need to somehow fool my Mac. Oh, there we go. It just got hidden behind another window. There we go. Unplug this. Unplug this, and this is the moment of truth.
Now we've lost the audio.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now it's back.
Yay. Okay. Well, I look like I've been up since 4:30 in the morning, don't I?
Yeah, but it was 7:30 in the morning for the rest of us. So.
I know. Oh. Anyway, this is the reverse angle of what you were just seeing.
Cool.
It's a little extra messy because I have tools and stuff set up for doing this show tonight, but that is what the client, this is the client's eye view. If you're the client in Studio B, this is what you would see. And as I pan around, it's a nice open room with lots of windows and glass so that you can see out into the room and you can see in. And another thing that makes this place really unusual, especially being in the city, is there are windows on all 4 sides of our suite.
Wow.
We even have windows to the outside right here. So during the daytime, you get natural sunlight coming into these rooms. So that makes it really comfortable to work here. And then coming into this is our Studio B booth. We have a wall-mounted monitor. We've got bass traps in the corners and fabric-wrapped walls. We have a cloud acoustical treatment panel on the ceiling. And so let's come out of here. Everything's still coming through?
Outstanding.
All right, we'll see how we had all new Wi-Fi coverage, hotspots or access points put in. So we'll see how they work out.
It's actually working very well.
And the ceiling's got a really cool array of acoustical treatment on the ceiling. Check those things out. And here's how thick the walls are for the geeks that really want to see. That's the thickness of the walls from the control room to the outer room. And you can they can have the radio playing. They have the radio playing out here all day, so there's always something to listen to. There's people out here hanging out talking. When this door is shut, this very expensive, heavy, thick door is shut, it stops pretty much all the noise. I mean, someone would have to be yelling at the top of their lungs to hear.
Well, that goes on a lot in New York, though, so it's good to have that.
No small feat to have a really quiet studio with low noise floor in a big multi-story. This is a 12-story building. We're on the 8th floor, so there's stuff above and below. It is no small feat. The guy that did this place knows what he's doing.
Yeah, we actually scouted, probably 10 different locations before we came to this
Holy
one.
cow! I didn't
And
know
we
that.
chose it because of the way the building itself was physically laid out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see it on this wall, but there are windows in the bathrooms, and there's windows on the back. It's really, really cool place. So, I guess we'll just see the rest of the studios here. Here's Studio E. Each room has a Neumann TLM 103, and the main room has a U87. And these 3 rooms, I won't go in all 3 rooms because they're all pretty much the same, but this is pretty much what each of the individual studios looks like. Simple, basic, clean, not overly laden with gear, just what you need. And then there's Studio D and Studio C at the end of the hall. C is sort of like our other second busiest room, and it's equipped with phone patch and a bit more gadgetry than Studios D and E. This one can do phone patch, things like that.
Yeah.
It's great, you know, when you walk from room to room and hearing the acoustical difference in the rooms.
Let's keep walking because we're losing a little bit of Wi-Fi at this corner of the building.
Yeah.
We actually, when we were building this space, David and I, he was in Studio C and I was in Studio D, and we were on our cell phones, and we did this infamous scream test, which left us both hoarse. And we stood in the control rooms and shut the doors, like, okay, go! Ah! Ah! Like as loud as we could, going nuts. Couldn't hear each other. We call each other. Yelling? Yeah, my throat's on fire. And then we did the same thing in the booths as well. And we tried it from all different locations. We blew our lungs out yelling. We couldn't hear anything.
I wish I could take claim for that design, but no. That's the level of quality or isolation I try to achieve.
Amazing.
So when you walk in, this is the main waiting area. There's a lot of open space here. A little lounge outside Studio B. Here's our we got TV, we got a satellite radio, and then our coffee machine, our ever popular coffee machine. And filtered water. And then this is when you come out of the here's the elevator banks. There's 2 elevators on this building. They come right in. So when you walk out of the elevator bank, the first thing you see is this desk right here, where usually Emily would be sitting, but everybody's home because they're smart. They're sleeping. And that's where Emily sits, and that's where reception is. And for the geeks, this is the tech closet. Woo! And do you have access to that room? Eyes on there? Okay. This is the office area. Not too exciting, but this is where everybody does all the phone calling, the arrangements, and the scheduling. This is the pièce de résistance.
Exactly. This is our Dolby surround sound room. It's certified. We also do Foley production in here in this back room, sound design, sound effects, and mixing.
Ah, yes, I see the Foley stage there. So people like walking across the floor and doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. This is the mix stage, and then we've got there's actually Foley pits in here. Let's I don't know if there's a light. Yeah, I can get to it.
There it is.
Foley pits in the floor right there, folks. So if you lift those panels up, there's gravel and different surfaces, glass, sand, things that you can step on. There's an edit bay in here.
Yeah.
So, what's the fella's name that uses this room?
Matthew.
Matthew?
Yeah, he runs his studio is called Soundspace. We collaborate with him pretty regularly. He's got an amazing ear.
Yeah, that guy's a total. He and I could geek out for hours.
Yeah, oh, for sure. He starts to speak to me, and I'm like, you're already over my head.
This is the workstation he sits at. An Avid Artist Mix and a Euphonics MC control. Not something most of us have at home. And this is his monitor control system. The system's set up for 5.1, 7.1, I think, and like THS cinema style mixes, which are all totally different. So
yeah, it's amazing.
Awesome place.
Wow. Well, that's an amazing. I'm amazed. I've never seen the Edge Studios before, and it's quite an impressive facility.
I tell you, I was blown away the first time I saw it. And let's see if the Wi-Fi holds up. This is overlooking the city. This is all latched off, I guess. But that's That's 45th Street down there below, so we can sit up there and watch the tourists go by, dragging their dragging their butts home after way too much partying on downtown.
Way too much pizza off Times Square.
Way too much pizza, yeah.
Although good tapas restaurants there, though.
That's pretty much it. I mean, the kitchen. There's a little more. There's a little more in the back. There's a room in the very, very back that I usually set up shop in when I come. It's our back office where we have meetings. And oops.
And he's gone. Yep. Come back.
It's pushing how far we can go with one Wi-Fi access point there.
Okay.
So that's it. That's the nickel and dime. Cool.
A most impressive facility.
So with that, maybe we should wrap this one up.
I think we should. You know, it's an amazing thing that we got it out tonight somehow.
We still did. Thanks to everybody who hung out there, waited for us to get our act together. Again, I apologize for slowing down the start of the show with my scrambling to figure out a way to do things the hard way when I should have just done it the easy way.
Lesson
Danny
learned.
has to remind me, keep it simple, George.
That's what I was saying about an hour and a half ago. Just keep it simple. Don't worry about that stuff.
I know. Frazzled from travel and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
well, it's going to be a fun week. I'm excited to be here. And ProMax, one of the reasons I'm here is because of ProMax, which is this big convention. Well, big, I guess, for the industry. It's not that big, but it's all about the world of promo. So all these promo voice actors come out, and all the buyers and all the producers, they all come and they're out here this week. So when I got on the plane, I was waiting in line, about to step into the plane off the jetway, and Jim Tasker is right over my shoulder.
Oh.
Yeah, he was right there, and he was like, "Hey, George," and that was fun. We even shared an Uber X car from JFK into the city. And he was really excited because he was about to wait in this long line in the taxi stand, to wait for a cab. And I pulled out my phone and showed him the Uber app, and I said, "Here, watch this." Beep. And about 1 minute later, my phone starts ringing. It's the guy out front waiting to pick us up. He was blown away.
That's great.
So, but yeah, it's a whirlwind trip, and I'll be hanging out here. We're going to have a little shindig for ProMax folks tomorrow, and then in the afternoon from 3 to 5, and then we're going to have, what else is going on? I'm seeing some clients. I'm going to see Rod Houston. On the weekend, I'll get to see my family.
All right.
Spend Father's Day with my father. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice little side jaunt. And then I'm flying to Florida to see Jerry Pelletier, one of our fans and one of our friends of the show. He's flying me down there, and we're going to get to do the next episode, Google Hangout edition about. So no, this one's going to be about marketing.
Marketing, yeah. We've got you're going to be down at Doug Turkel's marvelous studio just outside of Miami.
Yeah. How cool is that? I mean, I just love how the plan comes together. It's like I get to see my dad, I get to see all these clients, tie all this stuff up into one trip. It's awesome.
Absolutely, yeah, and you'll like Doug's place too. It's in a cool part of town, and it's a nice place. But we're gonna have Doug on talking about marketing, and Debbie Gratton is going to be joining us, and a few other guests too, and they're going to be talking about marketing as an EWABS roundtable, and so make sure you're there for that. Let's see. Want to thank our donors. There were a pile of donors this week. So if we don't mention your name, it's because we can't remember what it was. But if you donated, we really appreciate it. Clickers are going to be going out soon. A bunch of people have been buying clickers. If you want a clicker, we got them. I still got a box of them here, but the supply is starting to get a little bit low.
All right, we'll have to come up with something new.
That's true. What else could we do? Let's an official EWABS. Well, we had the pop screens. We have the clickers.
We are going to do a shirt. Believe me, I know everybody's been like wondering if that's going to happen. We are going to do a shirt. So,
yeah.
But Michael Hacker, I think he's in the chat room tonight. Actually, I know I've heard from recently. He's one of our recent donors who's also bought a clicker.
Yep.
Eric Aragoni.
Who?
Yeah, Eric. Man never misses a week.
Never.
With a show like this, I'll probably still donate.
That's right.
Um,
He may donate more.
Fred Jones. Man, we've had a lot of donations. You guys are awesome. We've had like 10 donations in the last week, so thanks so much, everybody.
And it's a big help.
Royal Tartan Holdings, whoever that is, Chris McCalla, Garrick Young, Susan Lee, and thank you, everybody.
Absolutely. It's we do this show for you. Tremaine, did you donate, Tremaine? I'm sure he did. I think he did. So we really appreciate all your help with that, and that keeps the show running nice and smooth, no matter what.
As long as I stay home.
That's right.
Every time we do something on the road, things get squirrely. So
just a little bit.
We're going to perfect our road rig. Eventually, we'll have something I know I can take with me everywhere and get consistent results.
Yes. All right. So also, we have our YouTube channel. So make sure you go over there and like all our YouTube videos. Episode 146 will be up there pretty quickly in case you missed this one. And if you're not watching it, you haven't missed it, or you've missed it, then you're not hearing me say that. It's getting late here in the East. Let's see here. EWABS Essentials. We're gonna have a pile of those. So there'll be a good playlist of those very shortly because we've got Tim McKean and Jack DeGalia are working on that, and so we'll have a pile of EWABS Essentials, which are 4 to 5 6-minute clips of great moments from EWABS and little golden nuggets of important stuff, some tips of the week, some Woodham's Worlds, and things like that. So you can see those. Next week we've got our marketing roundtable, so make sure you join us for that. We'll be bugging you about that all week, so you won't forget. We'd like to thank our sponsors, of course, Harlan Hogan, VoiceOver Extra, Edge Studio, especially for hosting our show tonight, being in the actual studio. That is a nice place. I mean, it looks like you're in a TV studio there.
It is. They have really neat lighting. It's all LED lighting in here. Really great. They did a nice job.
They did. So we'd like to thank our wives, especially Amy this week, who's doing it without you.
10 days. 10 days solo with Ella. So
let's see if she's still talking to you when you get back.
Yeah.
And of course my wife, and of course Anthony Geddick, who couldn't be with us tonight because he's traveling between his Kalamazoo and his place. Kathy Curridon, who's actually here in Buffalo, dealing with her mother who is ailing. So our best wishes to her. Jack DeGolia for a lot of hard work on the EWABS Essentials. Jason Lawson, feel better. We haven't heard from you for a while. Lee Penny, who was here earlier. Thanks for all the production assistance on that. And that's going to do it, I think, for tonight, if that isn't enough as it is.
We need to say thank you to Kristen. I never got to say thank you for hanging.
Yeah, she's still over there. Thank you, Kristen.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for the great tour, and thanks for telling us all about Edge Studios. Tonight, I'm Dan Leonard in the West.
And I'm George in the East of New York.
And together we are East West Audio Body Shop. Have yourselves a great week. We will see you next week, kids, and have a good one.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks for hanging in.
All righty. Good night.
Good night.